The 7-Year Hitch is definitely one of those films that needs to be watched when you're in the mood for something relaxing, a little bit funny, light-hearted, heartwarming, and one that just doesn't really require much thought. And I have to say, the only reason I watched this, the only reason it came on my radar is because George Wendt is in it. Not massively, but when he is in it, I like it. But I'm glad that I had a reason to watch it, because I actually enjoyed this film a lot more than I thought. I thought it would be cheesy and cliche and not very surprising, but actually it was very, very enjoyable. This was released in 2012, directed by Bradford May, written by Gregg, Rossen and Brian Sawyer, and stars Natalie Hall as our protagonist Jennifer, as well as Darin Brooks as Kevin and Ryan Doom as Bryce, and of course George Wendt as Mr. Henderson. The description from IMDb reads as follows, but I will expand on it because it doesn't actually explain very much. But it says, 2 best friends accidentally take their relationship to the next level and suddenly find themselves saying, I do. That sounded typical and kind of repetitive and boring and something I'd seen 1,000 times. But actually, it's a lot more complicated than that. So Jennifer is proposed to by Bryce at the very start of the film, and obviously things are going to change, but she's been living, or rather Kevin has been living in her house for 7 years while he was trying to get on his feet after university, but he just stuck around, hasn't got a proper job, doesn't really do much or contribute much financially. And now that he's found out that Jennifer is engaged to Bryce and he has to move out, he's not happy, he's not having it. So he finds a clause that suggests that he and Jennifer are technically married because they've been living together for 7 years, and he suddenly takes on this role of husband and Jennifer makes him do all kinds of things. And it's about the development of their relationship as friends, as well as Jennifer's relationship with Bryce and the problems that are being faced there. Straight away, it's very obvious who you're supposed to be rooting for. Bryce is not a nice person. You're not supposed to like Bryce, and it's very easy to not like Bryce. There was actually a reason why he proposed, and I was quite shocked that they never really brought that back in at the end of the film. I'm not going to say what happened at the end, but I thought it's something that they would have mentioned for Jennifer's character to have something more of a realisation, but it never happened, and I was surprised by that. But it's not the end of the world. Perhaps that's a good thing, because it means it's not as predictable as I would have expected. Kevin is the complete opposite of Bryce. Bryce is at the top of his career ladder. He's trying to go one step further. Kevin is the complete opposite. He doesn't have a job. And he is definitely the one that you root for and the one that you want to do well. I really like him. I thought Darin Brooks' performance was great. I really liked the character. I particularly liked the character development. And the motivation for his development was very good. Kevin goes on quite a journey of realisation, and I'm really happy with how that character evolved throughout and what he eventually became. For me personally, it was just very enjoyable to watch, and I think this is the kind of film where we could actually quite easily see a sequel. I'm assuming we haven't, but after what happens at the end, a sequel could potentially follow, and we can get to know certain characters more, and that's actually something I'd like to see. And it's rare, very rare, that I will get to the end of a rom-com and think, well, that needs a sequel. But actually, I'd quite like a sequel, and I'd like to see what certain characters get up to. So I don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil it. But if you like rom-coms, you will absolutely like this. But if you are just looking for a relaxing film that's easy to watch, and one that's maybe not as predictable as some others, I think The 7-Year Hitch is a pretty decent one to go for.